A very good morning to all of you and welcome to the smart city of Pune. We are very fortunate here as part of the third anniversary of the smart cities mission that was envisioned by our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Ji Modi, wherein a new concept in the urban sphere was introduced, and I think it came at the very right time. On occasion of this, we, along with elets, had a talk with Mr. Gupta, and we thought that we should use this anniversary, and at a very short notice, we could bind together and come up with such a new kind of a conclave. And while doing so, we ensured that it just does not become a distinct, separate smart city initiative, but we involve all the different components that are available in the urban sphere of Pune, especially the Pune Municipal Corporation, the Pimpri-Chinchwad Municipal Corporation, both the smart cities, along with us, the metropolitan area, that is the PMRDA, and the municipal transportation, that is PMPML. So all 5-6 entities came together and we ensured that we talk not just about the smart city, but a resilient and livable city also. I take this opportunity to welcome Honorable Mayor, who have been very supportive of the whole smart city initiative since the very beginning and has taken extra steps to ensure that this conference and these activities go a long way. Honorable Muktaji Tilak, I welcome you. The Deputy Mayor, Dr. Siddharji Dhende, who, with his presence in the Pune Corporation for a very long period of time, has added his social angle and an inclusiveness to the overall development that takes place within the city of Pune. And his initiatives in the field of medicine and health for all are well known to all of us. I welcome you, sir, for this smart city initiative and a resilient and livable Pune conclave. We also have an opportunity herein where we have our international delegates represented by Mr. Kim, who is the Consul General from Korea, based in Bombay. He deals with 5-6 different states. And Korea itself has a very good presence in the city of Pune. As I was told, there are more than 1,000 Koreans living here and a quite active and vibrant community which has made the city a part of its culture and day-to-day activity. Along with us, I'm happy to have Ms. Madeleine here, who is the Consul General from Sweden, again based in Bombay. A lot of different initiatives that has been taken forward in the adjoining PCMC area, where Sweden has gone forward and ensured that a distinct and a new kind of a street with features, especially coming from Sweden, have come in and inculcated, and we'll see more of them, a different kind of involvement for the city of Pune. And finally, we have Anthony, a very good friend and a very good associate of the Pune Smart City, who has been involved right from his initiations in the last 1.5 years in most of the projects and initiatives that the Pune Smart City is taking forward. He has been closely associated and ensuring that most of our initiatives, especially be it to the public placemaking, was something which was his ideas that he had implemented way back in Barcelona, the citizen engagement initiatives, as well as paying a focus on inclusiveness and social initiatives which should go hand in hand with development was one of his things. And finally, Mr. Raviji Gupta, I'm thankful that elets and Pune Smart City, along with all our other co-associates, could come forward and could organize this at a very short notice in the city of Pune on the third anniversary of the smart cities. So when we talk about Pune and the smart city initiatives, we look back in history and we see that people, humanity, started everything with hunting, gathering, and when they gradually moved towards agriculture is where they started settling down. The settling into small villages gradually turned into towns. These townships gradually turned into villages, into cities. And we could see that it hovered not about just one economic activity, but there were different functional activities of each of these cities and townships that gradually developed. Way back, it took almost 2000 plus years of urbanization, where we see that the overall atmosphere or the horizon of the country or as well as the world has been changing vis-a-vis impetus coming into the urbanization sphere. So the functionality, being it a port town or a fort town to defend the city, or the economics that is involved, a rapid amount of urbanization, especially in the West, came with the industrialization and the industrial revolution. And we see a larger movement of migration that took place, and that is how cities started developing. But most of the development usually took place in a haphazard way, where cities served the purpose of being residences and areas of work for most of the citizens, but they were not properly administered in the way that were required to. Quite distinct and different than in a place like India, where we had the Harappan and Indus civilization existing 2000 years back, which had its own kind of system of a proper planned development, right angle roads, a drainage system and a water system, which everybody can aid even today. Nonetheless, we could see most of the cities developing as areas of culture, center, arts and everything. And the city started evolving as a different kind of a cultural entity and activity. Countries, regions started forming, and these areas became administrative capitals of most of these places. But we see that most of the cities are gradually moving towards a new phase of a new era of development or remodeling, which we call a smart city. But when there is a buzz of smart city all across, we still cannot define what do we exactly mean by a smart city. There's a variable definition which is quite open, and everybody interprets it in its own different way. And when we look towards it, we can see that in a very basic sense, it is about making the life of the citizens in the city much more easier, better, livable, and ensuring that most of the citizen-centric services get associated where the administration of the city and the citizens become much more closer. There's new impetus of technology, and while doing so, we ensure that we have a sustainable development and growth. Because if you look at the cities, especially in India, where compared to most of the Western cities that have undergone a development stage and a physical infrastructure stage, which has already been attained, and we see that there's a smartness that has already been inculcated into the whole system, where deployment of technology has taken place on a much larger scale. The cities in India are still going rapid urbanization. We have a growth rate of more than 10% in most of our cities, and a large addition of population which sits on and ensures that whatever infrastructure we create or plan for goes haphazard. And this supply demand that is happening between the population and the resources or the infrastructure that a particular city creates is something which is a challenge which we have to admit. So at this stage, when the cities in India were already going through a physical infrastructure development based on, we have Shri Kamble sir, the minister from government of Maharashtra, who is with us. I'll welcome him, sir. He can join us on the stage. Yeah, वरतीच का? साहेब वरतीच का? चेयर इस तरह लेके. I will request Mr. Gupta ji to welcome Honorable Kamble sir, Minister of Government of Maharashtra, who is native of Pune and has consented and come to at very short notice to honor us for this conclave. So where we left out, I'll start again. So what was the need to have a smart city mission for India? I think this was the right time, and we can see the last 2.5 to 3 years, A good enough buzz has been created all across, where cities today have started talking about an integrated command and control center which is necessary for the city. We are starting about e-governance in a bigger way. We are talking about payment gateways to ensure that citizen-centric services and payment of bills takes place. We are starting about a digital India and a digital divide that has to be minimized. We have started talking about mobility on a much larger scale, where integration of different platforms, be it the buses or the last mile connectivity, takes place. We are talking about a lot of different things which were never happening, or even if they were happening independently in different cities where they were pursuing their own different kind of a growth. We have more than about 99 different cities all across India talking this language and trying to inculcate different forms of technological interventions and ensuring that they happen at this stage. The stage where the physical infrastructural development and the technology or the impetus go hand in hand. And when we talk about the smart city environment itself, we again see that because of this mission, on the already existing urban atmosphere or the horizon, a new entity in form of a spatial SPV came up, which ensured that the integration of different departments that exist within the city, be it of the municipal corporation or the law and judiciary handled by the police, or in some cities the electricity distribution done by the state department. At some areas it's also water supply that is being done. So the integration of these various departments to ensure that the growth and development takes place in such a phase that an overall environment of the city is taken into consideration and such kind of infrastructure or integration takes place, which ensures that it leads to a different kind of a new kind of a thinking and an execution which will ensure that there is a cross between all departments and the budget that has been available is better utilized. So when we look towards it, we have undertaken some initiatives in the last 2 years, which our Honorable Deputy Mayor as well as the Mayor will be speaking about in the city of Pune. But again, the smart city itself, we see that there are a lot of different networks that flow within the city, be it pertaining to the solid waste, the transportation, the energy, the water, the wastewater. And when these networks and different areas of services, when they crisscross, there are nodes that created. And each of these nodes are those important factors wherein the intervention of smart technology and smart city comes into place. So when we talk about these nodes, if the waste meets energy, we can have a plant which is called waste to energy. So where we ensure that the waste which was earlier disposed of in an unscientific way, not utilizing the full potential, can be converted to energy. If we talk about the area of transportation, we can see the transportation medium which till now for the last century was existing on diesel or gradually in CNG is migrating to electric. So there is a node of transportation which gets associated with the electric, and energy comes into play where we say that energy for this transportation medium is which is required, and that is the node which is an important aspect of the smart component that we talk about. So these are the different nodes that we have to pick in, and again an integration when we talk about. I'll just take one example of e-mobility that we talk about. The city is undergoing a transformation where we say on a larger area we have the metro which is coming up. The metro has to get integrated with the municipal transportation, which again has two areas of a BRT, a specialized corridor to ensure bus rapid transportation takes place. This public transportation has to get integrated with the last mile connectivity that will be coming in form of e-rickshaws as well as the public bicycle sharing. These are the nodes which we're already starting. So the same thing happens in different areas. We talk about a city-wide connectivity. We have to have a robust digital network which should be there, and the integrated command and control center which is already there. So the integrated command control itself, if we look at the human body, it's something like our own body where we have different senses. So we have 5 different senses, and this sensors is something which will let the body know as to what is within their surrounding. So rise in temperature is something which is adapted, the taste, the sound, the music, the light, everything which can be perceived. Similarly, these sensory nodes, if they are present within the city can sense as to what is the capability, what is the capacity, and what is the situation that is exist within the city, so it can adapt itself and it can go into a receptive kind of a mode, and it can ensure that the future cities that we want to develop are in a much more better planned, and the execution becomes much more easy. So these are the interventions that are much more required to ensure that the city's movement towards a smarter way of life continues. And while doing that, we should ensure that the livability indexes and the indices that have been defined and predefined at different stages, be it nationally or internationally, we try to achieve those parameters. Ensuring a sustainable kind of development to ensure that the environmental parameters are well within the consent. It's not just air pollution, but also water. And what is it that going to change the whole situation? Again, I'll come with a small example. If we are able to recycle, Pune has about 750 to 800 mld of sewage water that is daily released. We are able to process about 5 to 550 mld of water daily. 350 mld goes untreated into the river. 1 sewage treatment plant is a capacity of around 20 mld. If we are able to put in a kind of a tertiary system into the total process, where this water can be brought back into recycling and reuse for the citizens, probably by saving on 20 mld of water just by one plant, it's amounting to adding almost half the water that we consume from the Khadakwasla dam. So we don't have any other space to build new dams. We don't have that much amount of water that will help us and sustain and ensure that we add into the more population that to the city. So we have to evolve amongst our own resources and try to reuse most of them to ensure that this is the amount of water that we can regenerate and ensure. So recycling of water in just one STP plant is equivalent to that amount of water that will be picking up naturally from these reservoirs, is the potential and scope of each of the city. If you look at waste, we are generating more than 1,800 tons of waste daily. And if we are able to convert this waste into energy, it is that something, a new addition that we do towards the energy sector, that much amount of carbon credit gets reduced. So there are new prospects, there are new initiatives that can be taken, and we are sure each of them will require a kind of a capital or finance that is required to back up such kind of initiatives. They come through funds that come from the central government or the state government, but a lot of these initiatives will have to go under a PPP model if there is a revenue based into it. And we are sure that by looking at all these initiatives and activities that are coming with the smart city, wherein they go hand in hand with the Pune Municipal Corporation, the Municipal Transportation, the Pune Police, will be seeing a much more better, livable, and a smarter city for all of us. Thank you.